the fight between John and Michael, which gets physical in a magazine, at a magazine, this fluffy magazine. Let me tell you, I have worked in many newsrooms, the New York Post being the toughest by far. And I saw a lot, but I never, ever, ever saw anything like this.
His battles with Michael Berman culminated in a shoving match where John ripped Michael's shirt. Michael chased John across the floor of George magazine, and when John went into his office, Michael was trying to pick the lock to get in. It was really an explosive relationship.
How are things at the magazine? We had a big power struggle there last time we talked, right?
No, I mean, I think we had, what's the term of art, creative differences.
I believe the fights that took place at George were about the editorial. They were really having fights up there every day, physical fight.
John says, what's the term of art I'm looking for? I've never heard that phrase, term of art. I think he's looking for either turn of phrase or what's the saying, but then he's like, it's created, and you can tell he's lying. Can you imagine? And I don't think, Steve, that Michael, after ripping off part of John's shirt, or John rips part of Michael's shirt and then John runs away and Michael runs after him. And this is, by the way, they're working with adults. You know, they could have like knocked a woman down. John was a big guy. You know, this is what this is what magazine professionals are having to deal with. And then John locks himself in his office, and then Michael starts picking the lock. No. Michael starts banging on the door and trying to break it down. That's what would happen. It would escalate. It wouldn't suddenly be like, oh, let me see if I can borrow a bobby pin from like Tina in admin. See if I can delicately pick this fucking lock. Get out. Now, Gary Ginsberg calls it in this documentary, their relationship, a quote, fucking disaster. And that when John was mad, quote, he would be raw. So now we're getting to a little bit of real truth about John. So we're talking about the kind of mad, I'm asking, where John, say, physically assaults his fiance, as we saw him do to Carolyn in the park in the last nerve, or the nerve where the last two nerves ago. You know what I'm talking about. The kind of mad where he takes his hand, his open palm like this, and shoves her back by her face, like that kind of mad. Is it the kind of mad where he could get into a plane he had no business flying and kill his wife and her sister? Is it that kind of mad? That makes for a great story. And CNN purports to be a news network, but they're not going to go there. They're not going to go there.